Welcome to 2 Minutes of Hate. Taken from the George Orwell classic 1984, the 2 Minutes of Hate was a daily period where the citizens of Oceania watch a film depicting enemies of the party and scream and yell at the film for exactly 2 minutes. 2 Minutes of Hate is the stuff they distract you with that keeps you from hating truly hateful things like multi-trillion-dollar debt, over a decade of war, and warrantless wiretaps. Now, if I were super cool, these would be exactly 2 minutes, but see, I think Orwell's point is that 2 minutes isn't enough time to get the nuance of an issue, and yeah, so this will be longer than 2 minutes, and I'm not so unemployed that I can do one of these every day, please. This week's 2 Minutes of Hate, Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. Okay, I hate him because he's young, smart, and wealthy. Plus, he has a super annoying head of thick, lustrous hair. What a dick, right? Now, there seem to be other reasons to hate him, but first, just who is this follicularly blessed Brett Kavanaugh? He was born in 1965, graduated from Yale, assisted Kenneth Starr during the Clinton investigation, then joined George W. Bush's staff as counsel and staff secretary. He's a lawyer and has been a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, and he's definitely a Republican. For a lot of people, that's reason enough. Other reasons to hate him. Apparently, he hates women and the evil Republicans and evil Donald Trump. They just want to confirm him so they can overturn the 1973 Supreme Court decision, Roe v. Wade. 2, he supports those assault weapons. And 3, he won't support a Trump impeachment and tweeted that the Mueller investigation was a rigged witch hunt. Okay, let's go backwards. The impeachment thing comes from a couple different sources. Some law review articles he wrote in 1998 and 2009 where he said that a president should be excused from some of the burdens of ordinary citizenship while serving in office and should not be subject to investigations or questioning. He wrote that Congress and not a special prosecutor should investigate a president for lawbreaking. Also, during the confirmation hearing, some people describe his answers about impeachment as dodgy. Okay. However, at the hearings, he did say that a president could be tried and convicted even after leaving office, whether at the end of a term or because of impeachment. So it seems like impeachment is not off the table. And yeah, he tweeted that the Mueller hearings were a witch hunt. It's September of 2018, and the hearings began May of 2017. Maybe he was on Ambien when he wrote that tweet. But the thing is, Kavanaugh didn't write that tweet about the Mueller investigation. This guy did. And maybe they are a rigged witch hunt, or maybe not. Who knows? Assault weapons, bump, bump, bomb. Kavanaugh's supporters and others refer to him as a constitutional originalist. Some people don't think the Constitution is so important. They call it that book you carry and a living, breathing document. So when it comes to the Second Amendment, you're not going to get him to agree to any bans. Now, if you're against the Second Amendment, then his views will give your hate some ammunition. He did sort of beat the tar out of Dianne Feinstein at the confirmation hearing. She tried getting him about a term, common use for lawful purpose, that any weapons ban, specifically the AR-15, that was heard by the Supreme Court would use as a standard. After Kavanaugh pointed out that most handguns are semi-automatic, just like the AR-15, and that there are millions of semi-auto rifles are owned, Feinstein tried to make a case that just because someone possessed something didn't mean that they used it. Reminded me of the time when my mom found half a joint in my pocket. Just because I have it doesn't mean I'm using it. It also reminded me of Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap digging in his heels and saying, "This goes to 11. Alrighty. He hates women, and he will be instrumental in the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Okay, ignoring just how difficult it would be to get a case overturning something that's been on the books for over 40 years up to the Supreme Court, you have to introduce something new to the game, and the Supremes rarely overturn a precedent. They do it, but it's rare. But if we ignore that, we can't ignore that appointees often surprise the people who appoint them. Lots of political discussion involves mind reading, and we know that there is no such thing as mind reading. You can only look at what Supreme Court justices do, and they do unpredictable stuff. Roberts, Ginsburg, and Souter are 3 Republican appointees who historically surprised people with their decisions. Most recently, Neil Gorsuch, Trump's pick, voted against the Trump administration in a case involving whether or not illegal immigrants with a criminal record could be more easily deported. Gorsuch said the law was too vague. The case ended against Trump, 5-4. So go ahead, hate the guy because even though he's in his 50s, he looks like he's 42 and he's wealthy and smart. That seems to be a fine reason. Maybe you just hate those wascally Republicans, and that's fine too, sure, but now you know a little bit more about Brett Kavanaugh, and maybe the reasons I've outlined above calm you down a bit. But it's 2018 politics. If you've made up your mind, you've made up your mind. Why change it? His name is Brett. Is that a reason to hate him too?